How's it going, guys? Oddly Unorthodox. Running the Total War 3 multiplayer once again. Domination game this time. And those of you that might notice that I'm actually playing a faction that I've never played in multiplayer before. Could never really gel well with how they worked. But I thought, why not give it a chance, and I will record this game for you guys regardless of the outcome. In the hopes that I could show some things that maybe I thought were good, things I picked up. And, you know, maybe if you guys are venturing into the world of orcs and goblins, it might be helpful for you guys. So I went for quite a simple build at first. We did take the big one because I thought, why not? You've got to, haven't you? Such a great unit. We've got a Night Goblin War Boss. We've got the Rusty Arrows and some more Night Goblin Archer Fanatics. We've got the 8-peak Loonies, the Warlord Boys, some Night Goblin Fanatics and some more Night Goblins. I wanted to make a pure Goblin type army. And so we're going against a Wood Elf player, a Khorne player, and on my team I've got a Nurgle player. The Khorne Nurgle matchup is quite an interesting one, I find, so I will try and hover over there and see little points as well. Now, luckily he went quite a different type of Wood Elf build. If he had gone sort of Waystalkers with just a bunch of Eternal Guard, he probably would have been able to dismantle me quite quickly. So straight away, the good points of going with a Goblin army. We can get the sort of Night Goblin Squig Hoppers out. You know, we've already got some Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers out. Just getting some pesky Missile Cavalry and then just some cavalry to sweep round if needed. So you can see the Rogue Idol, I've walked him up and I am just throwing big green rocks, I guess, who, you know, are doing fair damage. We've already took 14 members out of that Blade Singer squad, so nothing to laugh at, if I'm honest. He did go quite heavy on the Blade Singers. Not too sure if they're any good, but it'd be nice to see at the end, see if they got how much value they made and stuff like that. So he manages to dodge that one quite nicely, but I really want to wait for him to move up because his archers outrange mine. I'm pretty sure they do anyway. What we run 135 range to 115. Yeah, 20 range is quite a deal breaker. So we move these guys up mainly just to shoot the Blade Singers as they come close and stuff like that. We take some range fire on top of the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, but now we decide that actually we'll run out the forest and sort of bait them in. We're happy to take the range fire in this squad because at the end of the day it's quite a cheap squad. God damn, that just hit one. So we charge up, we take the fight. You know, we've got the 8-peak Loonies fighting the War Dancers. The 8-peak Loonies, you know, they're unbreakable. They're going to do a good job of holding them there. And I've got the ranged units just to try and chew through them as soon as possible. As you can see, they're getting absolutely demolished. The rocks are still being thrown. And we send in the Night Goblin War Boss. We hit them with a fermented fungi, just to make them a little bit unoperable for a while. And then in go the Squig Hoppers. And now we're just going to sort of break off these Blade Singers, pop the debuffs, and just be a real pain in the backside. For every sort of squad of Blade Singers that he's sending in, I'm just bringing out another squad of Squig Hoppers just to tie them up, make sure they can't really get anywhere. He's sent the Hawk Riders in here in melee to try and salvage this fight, but I'm happy to take that. You know, they're still unbreakable and my units are still firing quite freely. We're dropping more debuffs here, causing an absolute menace. He's using the Helm of Discord, which is fair enough. Just rocks taking out this Blade Guard. So he now sends his Hawk Riders in to deal with me, but I just send more cavalry up. So if they do land, they've got to deal with the Forest Goblin Spider Riders that be poking them in the back with the poison. And then we can move these squads up to intercept the Glade Riders so we can't get a good cavalry play off. At this point, I'm happy with this fight. You know, we've won the sides. These Blade Singers are gone. We did send some Chaos Furies over to try and shut down these guys, but that's fine with me. More than happy for him to do that. Nurgle gets absolutely destroyed this game. Quite sadly, you can see there that he's falling quite behind in the gold damage value, but sometimes it can't be helped. You know, at the end of the day, people could be learning races the same as I can. It's quite nice that people can just sort of mess around and see what they enjoy. So with Fermented Fungi, the Glade Lord there, just to really be a pain. Make sure that he can't run away, lower his melee defense, and we can make sure that we deal with him. So the Rogue One Idol is still just throwing rocks. Yeah, he's sent the Hawk Riders back in again, but the Hawk Riders ain't having the best time. They're just being shot to death. Even if they run into one squad of the Rusty Arrows, there's another Fanatic squad there picking them apart. There's some Forest Goblin Spider Riders here picking them apart. And we want to get more bodies up the board now, because my ally has lost both of these points. You can't wrench them from Chaos. And if I'm honest, I didn't like originally brought like a Herald, which I think into Khorne, you know, they're going to bring sort of Scarbrand and Exalted Bloodthirster. You need to bring something to deal with that. So a little bit sad to see that he got absolutely destroyed. But we dealt with the Glade Lord. He does send some Flesh Hounds of Khorne up to cause me some issues, but it's fine. This point's ours now. We get the big un on it. And if I'm honest, this was more a game just so I could try out some of these cool units. Absolutely love this model. And we have got some of those famous Zoats. They've managed to get up here. But now they're getting the little shanks stuck in them from the Night Goblins. And we just keep moving bodies up. Yeah, you see the Glade Guard here, they got tied down by those Forest Goblin Spider Riders. Now they're just being peppered by all these squads. They're going to break off in a minute. I can push up again. So we are now taking the objective. Because the objective is pretty much won. The 8-peak Loonies are now going to deal with these Flesh Hounds of Khorne. And I'll send a big one over to help deal with them as well. And we've dealt with the threats to our back line. And straight away, out come more Forest Goblin Spider Riders and more Night Goblins. Now, a big mistake you're going to see me play this game is I kept using the Vanguard reinforcements instead of the main one. And it wasn't until the end of the game that I looked and I thought, hold on, I could have swore I bought some more big units to hold the victory location with. And it just stumped me the whole game. And then it's not until I realised that I was using the Vanguard deployment, as that's why I couldn't bring, because I brought the Swamp Things and I brought a Giant as well, which would have helped me sort of hold this point. But at this point, you know, it's our allies losing pretty hard. He's not really going to stand up to Scarbrand this late. You know, he's obviously, they've brought in a lot of Minotaurs of Khorne, so he's got a lot of units to really make life difficult with. Back up here, Pit of Shades just to upset some of my Night Goblins. Nice cast. But at this point we are now running amok. You know, this objective's mine. I don't plan on giving it up again. So straight away, these Night Goblins, we're going to run them straight into the Glade Guard. And yes, my Lord may have met his untimely defeat, but nearly 2,000 gold on him. That's a lot more than what he costs, so I'm happy to take that. And these Glade Guard Riders, you know, they're now being shot down by the cavalry. The arrows are moving up, and we've managed to move up and make quite a big dent in the Wood Elf player. You know, you see the score on the side. The Wood Elves are being absolutely destroyed by my Goblin build. We do get some Wildwood Rangers come up here. And I don't know if they expected this fight to go a little bit better for them, but they're just getting absolutely slammed. I love it. We send more reinforcements up because that's the good thing about playing Goblins. You can just constantly trickle more and more bodies up. Some nasty Skulkers to replace these guys. The Glade Riders are done. And now I know that I use the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers to create pressure up the map. That was a good rock thrown. 11 kills on that rock alone. Because at this point, I know if I can stop them from getting on this objective, I can hold this objective, return some of my units that have took a beating, and then maybe try pushing down the middle. But at this point, it is pretty much lost. But we're not one of those people that will just quit as soon as the game doesn't really go our way. It's nice to get the experience in. It's always nice to learn how to play from behind. I think it's quite important in this game. God damn, these models are cool. The little goblins on their squigs. Absolutely insane. I mean, the big one back here is putting in absolute work. I'm so glad I brought him. I mean, with this build, you could also go a bunch of the rock lobbers, but I joined this game and the guy specifically put in the title that he only wanted one artillery piece per faction, which personally is a little bit of a douchey thing to do. You know, if people go heavy artillery builds, you just have to find a way to beat them. You know, I uploaded that Sweaty Empire game the other day that I played against, and we showed you how to sort of dismantle that sort of box play style. As you can see, we've pushed up, we've held this point, and now I'm going to try and get some bodies down to help my Nurgle for one last push. I'm also using the big gun to throw rocks at Chaos Warriors because why not? Seems to be enjoyed himself. Up to 161 kills, nearly 2,400 value. He is showing you why you should be bringing these in your Orcs and Goblin games. Now, take that with a pinch of salt. I'm not going to say it's going to do amazing every game. But he's being quite a terror. So up ahead you'll notice that I have tied down a bunch of squads. This is a losing fight because Khorne will help him. But the longer I can keep them back here, the less chance they've got of pressuring the point. And in my opinion, that's quite a big important thing. Is that's a good way to make sure you keep hold of your points, is to fight them back here. Obviously, it's always going to be harder for you to fight back here because they can basically respawn units on top of you. And you've got to run them all the way down there. So it can struggle if you're playing a race of less mobile factions. Be it heavy armoured dwarfs, stuff like that. But it means that their units are being injured before they've even decided to try and get them on the point. It's to really just put off them being able to store up 6-7 squads of infantry and then rush you at once. You know, with a chance of them taking the point off you. I do send some goblins down just to try and help, even though I know it's not really going to make a difference. And the Nurgle player at this point, you know, he's 8,000 points down. He's having a bit of a struggle. But Nurgle's not the easiest race to play, so it's nice to see people playing them. It can get a bit boring seeing the same races that are, you know, competitive and popular constantly. Be it demons. I see a lot of demons and warriors of chaos and empire. So it'd be nice to see some of the less popular things. You know, I don't see Nurgle too much. He's probably the least seen demon. Get absolutely sick of seeing Slanesh and Tzeentch, but what can you do, eh? So up here, we now bring bodies en masse to hold our point. Even though, to be fair, the game is pretty much done. So we'll speed it up a little bit to show you my units fighting to the death. You know, taking down the Glade Guard. Another nice Blade of Khorne. I'm pretty sure he's used that twice on me now, which is fair enough to him. You know, you can see the big one dealing with the Blade Singers, chopping through the Winter Heart, and there we go. Now, like we do at the end of games, let's just have a look and see where the values were. So you can see here that I didn't bring my Night Goblin War Boss back, but he did do 1850 value, not bad. Nearly 4,000 value on the big one. Yeah, 700 value, 800, 950, 1,100. They're good value on these guys. That one obviously must have took a bit of unlucky fire and a bit of unlucky trade. But, you know, you can see that, you know, the Squig Hoppers well above their value. You know, even this squad of Nasty Skulkers, you know, put in work. I didn't bring my Wolf Chariots out, in all fairness. And as you can see here, those guys did good, but the Swamp Things and the Giant, I just didn't get a chance to summon them because I'm an idiot, really. It's been nice catching you guys on this video again. Make sure, leave a comment, like, subscribe if there's any ideas you want to see, any builds you want to try, any tips for the orcs maybe. I'm more than happy to reply in the comments. And even if, you want some games to practice or, you'd like something like that, give me a shout. I'm thinking about maybe setting up a Discord where people can just sort of play freely, if you're looking for that sort of thing. Thank you very much, guys. It's been Oddly Unorthodox, and I'll catch you on the next one.